for it to pop up. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? Been a long time since we talked.
Yeah, it's been a while. Things are good.
How's the team doing?
Getting better. Slow progress. Just it's hard when you got half the team of first and second year wrestlers. But making progress.
Good stuff. All you want to do is get better all year.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff's been going on since we last talked, which was probably before the season. I don't know if we touch a little bit on some of the bigger stories and then do a Penn State Iowa post-mortem.
It was that. Somebody died.
Somebody died, right? Right. The worst loss since the mid-'60s at home for Iowa. But, that's not the first time Iowa's taken a beating this year. Iowa State beats them for the first time in a generation. Did you watch that match? What do you think about the state of Iowa State and Iowa? Because right now, like, I don't want to say it's a changing of a guard, but all of a sudden it makes recruiting and, who's the king of Iowa come into question.
I mean, Iowa still has a monster recruiting class coming next year, which I don't know when the last time you could say that as far as them having a top 5 or even higher recruiting class with the Bachmans and the Kennys and some of those guys coming in next year. So they're still getting kids, but the results on the map are not what anyone's used to.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go back to when they kind of came and rated Pennsylvania State talent with, when they were starting 5 PA guys before you can get to a recruiting class that looks like it'll be as good as that.
And it's 2 PA, 2 Jersey guys, so they're coming back.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a chance that Iowa could. I mean, they already have 3 dual losses. They don't match up well with Nebraska. And then they've got, Oklahoma State as well. And Ohio State again, who already beat them at the national duels. I mean, they could end up losing 6 and then there's Minnesota. They could lose 6 or 7 duels this year, which I don't think they've done since pre-Gable.
I'd have to look, but I would agree it's got to be pre-Gable for that to have happened.
Yeah. And as far as Iowa State, I mean, they've been sitting at number 3 since beating Iowa, and Kevin Dresser, has got that team competing, and between him and Manning in Nebraska, right, the Midwest has got some solid teams, and all of a sudden Iowa's recruiting against those guys, right, at least locally, which is that makes things a lot harder.
And the baffling, they beat Oklahoma State this year with forfeiting heavyweight, and they still beat them.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It kind of depends on, I guess, how everybody's doing injury-wise and up-wise and down-wise. We saw it a couple of years ago where Michigan hammered them, and then they went to Iowa, and then Iowa went and hammered Nebraska, right? Like, it was kind of a weird. So, these guys aren't professionals, and there's ups and downs and, sicknesses, and, there's only 10 guys. It's not like you have a football team of, 80 guys where you're going to be able to sub somebody who's almost as good.
Right.
I mean, unless you're Penn State, who has crazy depth. I guess the next big story that we didn't get to talk about is Jack's going to OSU and, getting the start in Bedlam, getting a pin, a week after leaving Bishop Court, and now he's wrestling attached at the Cyclone Open.
Yeah, I'm confused on the urgency from Jax's side of wanting to jump in and get a full and start so early. I'm just confused by it. I mean, we've seen what Kasich did, what Aaron Brooks did as far as not competing at your high school for your senior year. Like some of the guys that went the OTC route, Kasich and others who, I think Levi did the same thing, like just went to RTC practices for the year instead. But to go all of the effort to graduate early to enroll and actually start competing. That just I don't understand. It doesn't the logic doesn't add up to me. I don't know what the urgency is.
I mean, I'm just guessing. One, he wants to do it, right? He was on the senior. Was he on the senior team too?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Duke, right? And those guys. It's not like when you're at that level. I was just thinking about like Zane Rutherford. If Zane Rutherford wrestled or redshirted his freshman year, he'd probably be an undefeated 4-time champ.
Askren has swore by that statement that was the reason why Kale redshirted him.
That's really funny, right? But that's and Jax. You could say that he's got that kind of talent, but when you're that age, I don't know if they ever think about that because we've seen guys who were cruising along, then there's injury or something else happens, and right when it seems like at this point at the top level, competition's getting harder and harder, and who improves more, Blaze or Forrest? Or Ono? I mean, the point is that like when you got it, you smoke them when you got it, and to me, I'm guessing David Taylor, they're on the bubble, even with Iowa losing and Dean. Like you want as many team trophies as possible, right? That's what you want, like to
I
show
don't.
you.
Yeah, I mean, for David, I mean, he should be balancing the team and the person, and this feels like overly emphasizing the team. It's like Ramirez, you're pretty good, but I think Jax is better, so we're just gonna move you to the side.
Yeah,
I mean, Figs is a he's done.
he's off the rails. Like he's in the repair yard. I don't know what's going on, right? Like, I mean, is it just a complete lack of motivation once you won a title? Like, is that it? It scratched the itch, like winning the Super Bowl. It's hard to get it back, or was that just him having an out of his gourd type of tournament?
I mean, he was up and down that whole year.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
mean, he came in at the 8 seed.
exactly. 8 or 9? Was it 8?
8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yep,
he had Davis in the quarters.
yep.
Uh, and like he didn't even start as a freshman because he was behind. I'm drawing a blank on who he's behind, but it was somebody good. So he didn't start as a freshman. So that was his sophomore year, and then didn't do much last year as a junior, and then tried a new place for his senior year, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he got money kind of like, a lot of guys did. And the kind of money I'm hearing about for guys, I know the money that I've heard is being thrown around, like just at Arizona State. They brought someone in who I don't even think was ever a round of 16 for 6 figures.
You
That's
talking pre NIL
I'm
clearinghouse?
talking this year. They brought someone in who's never been around to 16, and it was over 6 figures plus private housing, if you believe what he's telling people. And the same with, I mean, they're not the only one. Don't get me wrong, Nebraska, Iowa, but the amount of money that these kids are saying they're getting is over $100,000, and we're talking about guys who weren't all Americans, weren't blood round, like they were 1-2 or 2-2 at NCAAs, and like you
Yeah, I just
wonder
don't know
why.
how they're hiding it because
I don't either. I don't know, but that's what the kids are saying. Whether it's and you wonder why programs are going to get cut. Like we're talking about Cal Baptist, and there was all that talk about what's NWCA doing, and that no one at Stanford even knew who the coaches association was when they finally brought back the program. There it was all kind of local and on the ground stuff, and I don't know what's going on, but like this is I don't know how we got here, but it's going to make it hard for programs to compete when so much money is being thrown at kids who are good, but like I don't think they're going to get you a team trophy.
No, I mean, and David's going to start running into the same problems that Penn State and others have as far as you're going to get people starting to leave if they're not wrestling.
Yeah.
You start recruiting over people. Why would Ramirez stay?
Yeah. Right. I mean, you have to have the mindset, and that's why what Kale Sanderson says, they're like, we barely recruit. We want people who want to come to us.
Right.
And I mean, I can, speaking of somebody who's been from that team who was a perpetual backup, he's like, if I was going to be a national champion, I'd have to beat this guy somewhere along the line. So in my mind, I'm winning titles with the team because I'm a really good training partner. And if I ever beat him out of the lineup, then I'll be, that caliber. But that's a special kind of kid, right? You don't see that very often.
No.
So, all right. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that before we move on to Lehigh?
Do you think he's using? So he said Jax will wrestle his 5 dates. He's not said if he's going to go postseason.
I think if he has his 5 days are good. Like if he's running through people, I think they're going to put him in there because they want to get a team trophy in March. That's my take on that. And the people have put a huge amount of money in. I'm not saying they're impatient like Iowa, but donors love to see a return on their investment. So, right there, the support behind Oklahoma State since Taylor has taken over is incredible. The funding of the RTC, the national duels, the coaching staff. I mean, all these things you can look at where they have been thinking out of the box and supporting it. And, they want, and David Taylor had a great season last year as a first-year coach. Now he showed that he can coach guys up, right? Hamidi came from Wisconsin and was just thoroughly frustrated, becomes a national champion. And, the same at heavyweight with Hendrickson, leaving Air Force, whatever they taught those two guys shows that they can take someone who's good and make them great. And, I think that they feel like they can do that. I mean, he's been training with Forrest in the past. And, if he's wrestling well, I think they put him in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. 33 is debatably 1A or 1B toughest weight in the country this year with 57.
No doubt. But I mean, like when you think of guys who are like that, they're all alpha males and they want to wrestle everybody. That's why they're wrestling a world. It's like, that's what, Duke or Jax could easily just have wrestled their age group, but that's who these people are. Right. When you're built like that, it's hard to keep them off the mat. Like I'm trying to remember if it was it Mark Hall? Somebody who was an NCAA champion told me the red shirt year was the hardest year of his life. He didn't know how to not compete, and he didn't know how to train to not compete but still improve. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. I think it was Mark Hall. And that's how these guys are built. Like they're just not used to not competing. But they go out and seek the best competition outside of the Division I, arena, and you can't change that kind of DNA when it's NCAA.
No, I hear you. I'm just still. I'd love to hear, and Jackson's pretty open. I'd love to hear his thoughts on everything at the end of the season as far as the whole thing. I mean, that whole McCourt room blew up, so it wasn't like they were fighting to win state titles or get number 1 ranking in the country because, I mean, the whole room blew up. Herring went to Penn State early.
Yeah.
Seamus McCourt was going to transfer there and then found out he wasn't going to be eligible for postseason, so then didn't do it. And
you and I have speculated, like, are they built for the long haul or not? Versus Faith Christian, who's also up and running, right? Although they just lost to,
he got second at Doc B. Yeah.
Doc B. Yeah. So my guess is that Faith Christian is built for the long haul, whereas Bishop McCourt may never recover from this kind of loss of talent and I don't
Agreed.
know.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone's now is like, okay, Askren tweeted out that Melvin Miller should do the same thing in reclass, and Melvin shared it on his Instagram.
Oh, interesting. I don't know what his age is. I don't know if he's old for his grade or not,
He
but
is. They all
yeah,
are.
yeah. Um, well, I know who is not. Levi Haynes, I think, is only 20. He's going to graduate at 21, I think. Pretty good for
He's
Division
younger
One
than
athlete.
Josh Barr.
Oh, okay. He's younger than Josh Barr, who is
Yeah.
a sophomore.
Yeah. Third
Yeah,
year in college, and
yeah,
Levi's in his fourth year in college.
yeah,
One has a red shirt, one didn't.
yeah. Exactly. All right,
Well,
let's.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
Askren was on FRL the other day and was saying the same thing. He's like, Jackson, Aiden Sinclair are the same birth year,
Oh, no kidding.
and
And
Sinclair's
Aiden's
in
a
his second year
sophomore.
in college.
Yep, yep. Interesting. Well, then there's another reason. Like you know, yeah. Some kids just don't want to spend. They're not Mike Kimmerer. They don't want to spend 7 years in college,
Exactly.
without being called doctor.
Right.
Anyway, love you, Mike. Shoot, that's funny.
There's still a couple of them floating around.
There are, right? It's crazy, the COVID stuff that is still being given to kids. And there's somebody, well, I'm drawing a blank, who's now filing for what, their 7th year again or their 8th year? Who is it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Through
Uh,
injuries and
somebody, this came up on a podcast because the transfer window rules have changed.
right.
And, Edmund Ruth.
Oh, that it? That's it?
I think Edmund, they said that he's in the portal. And they're like, I don't even think he has years left. But
Right. He was at Lehigh for 2 years, then out because of legal troubles in Illinois, and then out. Um, Edmund Ruth, that's fun. I mean, this will be, I don't know how long it's been, but it'll be a long time.
like I think it was Willie, the way he explained it was like Illinois is like, you went in the portal, done. They don't care. It's your like, and even the Lehigh kid that went into the portal with the hope of him getting that medical red shirt.
Exactly. From West
McGonigal.
Virginia.
Yeah,
Oh,
McGonigal.
McGonigal. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about McGonigal who went
No.
to VT. He's back in?
Well, he that year before he got officially denied the eligibility, he was in the portal
Okay.
under the circumstance that he might have a chance.
Right. The same with their 57-pounder. Was it a 57-pounder? He was a West Virginia state champ. I'm drawing a blank on him. Right. Like he was really confident. Just like the kid who left Ryder, Sammy Alvarez, who left Rutgers,
Yes,
right? Like
right.
he thought he was going to get another one. I think when they just threaten lawsuits, the NCAA is just folding at this point because they have such a terrible record of looking out for the well-being of kids over the years that I don't know if you could probably win a lawsuit against just their history of behavior.
Well, based upon how Oregon State let a kid wrestle who was out of eligibility last year, you can tell
all the way.
There is no eligibility system or calculator anywhere. So clearly, since it doesn't exist, the portal's not connected to a system that doesn't exist. So somebody asks you to put him in the portal, done, you're in.
Right, that kid
Because it
went all the
implies
way
you're
through
leaving. They don't care.
right, that kid went all the way through placing at Pac-12s, right, and then was
Yeah.
ruled ineligible. Insane. Yeah, what a disaster. I think the whole system's going to look a lot different in 10 years or within 10 years. And the other thing is, I'm sure glad they pushed the portal back till after NCAAs, so they're not trying to steal any thunder.
How hard would it be that the portal opens for your sport 2 weeks, a month after your final competition, after your final season ending event? How
Yeah.
hard would that be instead of, well, this is going to be April 1st, which is going to be hilarious for all the April Fool's jokes people put out there.
Right.
Why not do, because they write blanket rules, because that's how the rule got messed up this time. But why not just have a blanket rule? 30 days post your season-ending event, your portal opens.
Jamie, it makes too much sense, but bureaucracies like to make things complicated so that they can catch people on technicalities, right? Like it should be something simple. Like,
Oh,
whatever you say.
you want to hear about a technicality?
Yeah,
D2,
yeah.
the way there's a loophole in the red shirt rule as it applies to D2. Nationals can be one of your 5 dates.
Get the hell out of here.
Yep. It's been
Wait,
confirmed.
that's insane.
Yes. The Division II national tournament can count as one of your 5 dates.
Oh my God, I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, there's so many problems with the sport because there's not enough money in it, right? The coaches poll versus just having, you know, 4 or 5 media people, Pirate, Willie, Jason Bryant, whoever it is, do
Well,
that. I
Jason's
mean,
doing it. Jason's been doing a unified uh poll. He sends out it's the mathematical average, mean, whatever of every other publication that's out there.
but I'm saying like for NCAA seating, like
Yeah.
they need to pull the coaches out of it, right? They gotta
Oh
pull,
yeah.
right? It's like having all the college football coaches voted on who should be seated or ranked where, right? Like, they're spending 80 hours a week on their team. They're not watching film or results from somewhere else. And if they were, they'd still favor their team. Oh my God.
Oh, the stories about this guy saying, "Hey, can you give my guy a bump at this weight, and I'll
Right.
give your guy a bump at that weight."
Yeah.
They're endless.
Yeah. Holy cow. It's crazy stuff. All right. But I can't believe that. D2. NCAAs is one of your 5 dates.
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh my God. All right. How about Lehigh? They finally got most of their full lineup back, and they took out Cornell last week.
Yeah, that was a nice win for them. And Cornell was mostly back at their full strength.
Yeah, Shapiro was back in, and
I
I
never
don't know.
understood why he took the semester off.
I don't either. Right, and it's one of those things where, is it the concussion? Is it something else? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw him running a camp this summer at our school, and he seemed pretty good,
Yeah,
fine for the day that I saw him.
interesting. Um, the only person who's out is Logan Rosinski, from just going back to Lehigh, and he looks like he's
Right.
now in medical shirt year. But they got Crookham, Stanich, they got the Idaho kid back in there who's a redshirt freshman, Skellinger, Brignola's back, and Taylor. So, I mean, they look like a team that if they really performed well, it'd be hard without Rosinski, but they could be, and they should be finishing top 10 at NCAAs for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if the bottom three are all potential podium top three, top
Yep.
four, Seymour probably a little farther out of it. And then Taylor at heavyweight looks real legit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting, we'll probably get to it, but with Penn State is that, I mean, Marisola didn't look like he had anything for him. And it was mostly, I don't want to say it was mostly size related, but it just didn't seem like he could compete with somebody who's that big. Just
Who has athletic ability and can move, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But we can get to Marisola as well. Maybe. Is there anything else we should talk about? Like, I have Penn State's win streak before we talk about the Iowa match, right? They set the record for most dual wins, D1, and I think it's now D2. Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, there's a ton of each of those you can go into, just how many records Penn State is going to break on a daily basis. But nah, not much more.
Yeah. I mean, it's not what they're clearly not striving for that. And they're not, striving for anything else other than like national titles and world and Olympic titles, right? That's what motivates them. And this is just a byproduct of that. And I mean, this is probably the deepest team we have ever seen from Penn State. And that sounds crazy, but when you look at Desmond having beaten Luke Lillidahl, you got a gold medalist on the bench. You got, two-time All-American Kasich on the bench. You have Sealy on the bench, who has looked really good. I mean, and I'm sure I'm leaving people out. You got Connor Marisola at 97 on the bench. Like, this is pretty crazy. Yeah. So anyway, super deep team, and I don't know if I lost Jamie there.
No, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. So I just couldn't see. Deep team, and it's a byproduct of just chasing titles. And I don't think we'll ever see him in a national duel unless it's an NCAA sanctioned event. And I don't think we're ever going to see that.
It'll be interesting to see if the date change intrigues them at all, and the intrigue being $200,000.
Right. Interesting.
But I don't know what the world schedule looks like this summer. I feel like those dates change all the time, and that could have a big play into it as well.
I guess so. I just don't see them changing what's working, and they're competing. I don't want to say less and less. It seems like the only thing that can derail this, the team is injuries, and with the depth, I don't think that would derail them completely. But they seem to have, reduced the number of dates pretty dramatically under Sanderson's tenure. When you look back at how many times they competed, a season, their first year. What were they? They, crying out loud. I just got logged out of WrestleStat. But I was just going to share, like, let's see here. Their first year under Sanderson, well, let's just say 2014. Oh, crap. It doesn't go back that far. Yeah, 14
well,
and 1.
They were doing the scuffle.
They were doing the scuffle. Yeah.
That was really the only.
That was a big 2-day competition.
Notable change
right?
that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But they sort of replaced that with the Nashville Journeyman event.
Yep.
But even the Journeyman event has gotten smaller because of teams not wanting to do the crossover matches and that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, here's a question for you, Jamie. Is Tom Brands the most criticized coach in your lifetime?
I would. It would be hard. I mean, in wrestling, I would say without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's got 3 team trophies or first place trophies. I think probably 15 placement trophies. Now, granted, right, they didn't place 2 seasons ago, but they won a title, and they probably would have won 2 if COVID had not closed down the NCAAs. 2020, 2021, they won.
Right.
But I mean, that fan base and Bob Nichols, like I mean, it's crazy how much criticism this guy gets. And I get it. They want to beat Penn State. And I don't think I'm on record. I like Brands, personally talking to him. I don't think he's got like when you watch the duel, Iowa doesn't, they struggle to take a risk to get to legs, and they struggle to finish. Whereas Penn State's doing things that they, I think allow them to do those things more freely. But I mean, Tom takes so much crap. I can't imagine. I never go on message boards, but I just can't imagine like everybody's head's not on fire after having the worst defeat in 3 generations at the hands of Penn State, that Carver Hawkeye.
Well, there's some of the decisions they're doing around the athletes is where I think so many of the questions come in.
Yeah.
They took a gamble on Ferrari. Didn't work. They went after the year they brought in Caliendo with 3 transfers. Now, Caliendo's worked out perfect. That's been the poster child for Iowa portal signings.
Success. Yeah.
But they brought like 2 others in that year, and Buchanan worked out. He's another one. But they failed. They've missed on more of those portal attempts than they were successful. Bailey and Williams this year haven't worked out. The Endine story is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
What is the story? There's so many versions, flavors of things going on. He was injured. They wanted him to get a cortisone shot. The guy doesn't even take Tylenol today, but they wanted him to get a cortisone shot uh, to come back. He didn't do a team meeting or a meeting with the coaches because his wife just had a baby that day or day before. There's just and even Gabe Arnold being off the team this summer and then back on the team.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it seems like it's in disarray, and it seems like the kids are coming there for the money and maybe some prestige,
Yeah,
whereas it seems like the opposite of that is that Penn State again isn't recruiting people like that. People want to come; they don't want to convince someone to come. Like I remember Cale Sanderson said, like the thing they learned most about recruiting is they don't want to have to try to convince someone to come to Penn State. Um, and whether it was Nick Sirianno or someone else, I don't know where that lesson came along, but um, I don't see. I mean, I guess they almost had Bo and Melvin and whatever happened there with the parents, but like not having firm lines or just whatever it is, it just seems like the program is you know it's not based on some type of, I don't know, family values. That sounds crazy, but there's something about kids wanting to be there because they're a team versus it being more of a business, maybe.
oh, for sure. Yeah, and I didn't even mention the Bassett scenario. I mean, that was
That's
another
what, yeah,
example. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And the AD there, I can't remember her name, Beth. I mean, she's Beth something, right? She's brought coach people in for interviews while Brands has been in the seat. And, I don't know. I just looked it up before we were talking about during Lehigh is, these guys all compete for something like the Director's Cup. And that's like the best combined athletic stuff. And I mean, Iowa's in the bottom tier, or they're
Stanford
like
wins it every year, don't they?
Stanford generally wins it. Penn State is in the upper tier. I think they were in the upper tier of Big Ten, and Iowa's like below mid level, just in the Big Ten, let alone all the other schools. And this woman, supposedly, this AD, I mean, I've just heard this through the grapevine, is, I mean, she thinks super highly of herself and is off putting to a lot of the coaches there. We've talked about, that they've had people in that room, and she even offered to David Taylor before he lost, for the Olympic team trial. And maybe she made someone wait in the waiting room before, but like there's something about her that is, it just doesn't pass the smell test. Like you're interviewing new coaches or potential coaches while you have a coach there, and you're not handling that well enough to have people have interest in your program. It just seems like I'm not saying it's all Brands. I'm saying there's something up with the athletic program there.
It's possible. I mean, I think she's fairly new because I think didn't she come in and kind of give the final ruling on AJ?
Well, I think she was there, and if the rumors are true, AJ did a number two on her spot in the parking lot.
Okay.
Is the word. I don't know if that's true. Which I think that was either the final straw, whatever. I don't know what. These are just rumors that I hear, but I mean, clearly the person to take over that position, if they want to be competitive, is Ben Askren, in my opinion. I know he's sick and has trouble, but like I think he would think this is a tremendous challenge. And we've talked about it. Just the kids that he's coached out of Askren Wrestling Academy, those placement points get a trophy some years at NCAAs.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is I had like a couple of texting me, oh, they need Kyle Dake or Snyder or Jordan Burroughs. Those guys didn't have I don't think they've had the coaching background that David Taylor did with M2. And I don't think that they've shown any inclination to want a coach. Like Dake turned down, it sounds like, offers to go to Oklahoma State. Sounds like he's found a home at State College. Um, I think the death of his father has changed his perspective a little bit. And I don't know, does Jordan Burroughs have a club in New Jersey, or is his
He
kids?
does.
He
And
does.
he's all in now.
He is. So maybe that is a way to go, but it's one of those things that he has not been at it long enough to turn out people like Askren has, or even in the short time that McKnight and Taylor did, like turning out Kasich and Haynes, and I'm sure there's
Right.
others I'm drawing a blank on, but those are just household names.
Marsteller is probably the next was when it comes to top club coaches in the country right now. He's the one making huge uh, gains.
Yeah. Yeah, the Stellar trained guys are really good, and they made a statement a couple of years ago at PIAA States, right? And they like his kids would have won the team title if it was just his kids.
Yeah, and it's not just the PIAA kids. He's
Yeah,
got kids all over the private schools.
yeah, exactly. And that's pretty cool what Kist has been doing. He brought him in there and helped Chance get, I don't know, straight again or whatever it is at Alvernia. And I know he's traveling a little bit, but it's
He just opened a second facility in New York.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Good for Chance, good guy, and he's been all over the place. So I'm glad that he's able to seemingly, um, be at peace with himself, because there was a period there he showed up at a clinic that we were holding several years ago, and I mean he clearly hadn't been to bed that night, right? Like it was, I think
Yeah.
I think someone sent him home after a couple hour or an hour. I don't even remember exactly. I just wasn't my fight. All right. So you're saying Chance could be a candidate?
I don't know about Iowa, but he's building one of the top clubs in the country.
That's it. Yeah, I agree. Um,
I just saw an update that Lehigh's wrestling Princeton and McGowan may have beat Seymour.
wow, that would be big.
Yeah.
Joe Dubuque inherited that program, and I want to say it was, they graduated a lot of talent, and he was rebuilding since Coach Ayers left, and they got a good staff over there, and that's interesting. That's it's a good thing when those guys have Lehigh and Princeton have a rivalry. It's not just a blowout.
For sure.
And the same thing, like I love I think college wrestling is better when Penn State, Iowa is like a deal. And don't get me wrong, I mean, a blowout is cool as a fan, but like you want there to be rivalries where, Penn State, Iowa, Oklahoma State, traditional powers, and even new powers like Virginia Tech are battling. And right now, it doesn't look like, Iowa is going to be battling for that number one position. I don't know. I just don't. Here, my takeaway from the match is that I'm not sure how much the guys in that room in Iowa are improving. Like, Ben Keeter, I gave him the edge versus Marisola, and I didn't see any improvement. I don't know if he was sick. He just didn't look motivated.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd.
Yeah. So, and that his size, I know we're kind of out of order, but like his size plays right into Marisola's ability to deal with guys who are his size much more easily. And Keeter hasn't put on weight either. I think he's 225, small for college heavyweight.
I think he was a little bigger than that, but he's not on the bigger side.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what else. Big picture stuff here. A couple things. Penn State broke out a couple new moves. That double thigh pry from top was something that I don't think we've seen much of in the past, but it seems like they're using it, and they're lining up with their thumb down on that top referee's position. And it seems like it keeps their back higher on the top of the back of the guy on the bottom. Although, who hit a really slick switch? Was it
25 Peterson?
Right, just that clearly didn't stop Dean Peterson. He came out to compete. Like that first sequence where he kind of used Little Doll's aggressiveness, threw him right into a slide by, and then they fought and they cartwheeled out of balance. I mean, that was like a pretty solid opening to this match.
Oh, absolutely. He came into that thinking he had a chance to win, which I don't know if you could say the same for all the Iowa guys.
No doubt. Yeah, he competed hard, and Lillidahl, he just has got too many angles, and you can see it almost looks like Penn State is. They get in on a leg and they wait for you to load up to defend it, and then they switch the directions that they're finishing it on. It's pretty cool. If you go back and rewatch it, everybody's got a misdirection finish, or almost everybody. Um, but there was a great opening tone for the match, the duel, and Peterson wrestled hard, but he wasn't able to finish where Lillidahl was, and
Yeah,
Lillidahl's got
Lillidahl had to take down every period.
every period. And last year's match when Peterson beat him on a one takedown, he wasn't going to let that happen again this year, right? That was one of those things where Peterson's game plan, slow it down. Not that it was Peterson's game plan this year, but Lillidahl made sure it couldn't happen. So
Right.
good stuff. Blaze versus Ayala. Ayala, everybody's kind of down on him. He's lost a few good, other than losing to the top three guys, like the national champion. What's his name? Lucas Bird. He lost to
Davino.
yeah, and then the other guy was.
I mean, he's literally 4-4 on the year.
4-4, and I'm trying to think of who he lost. Whoever was ranked number 3. He lost
He
to Evan
lost to
Frost.
Bird, Fugit,
Bird.
Frost, Davino, and Bird.
So all I'm saying is,
Or Blaze.
the losses don't look terrible to me when you look at it. Ayala, he's a 2-time finalist, right?
Right.
Again, I don't know if he's improving, but Blaze, that guy holds position. I mean, his chest is so low. Ayala didn't look to. I don't know if he had one legitimate attack. He's all his stuff, just like he beat Davis a couple of years ago, was on that slide by. It's all that upper body stuff. I don't think he's got to go to get underneath anybody.
But I mean, his wins: Bellarmine, Missouri, Ronnie Ramirez from Oklahoma State, and Talmadge from Pitt.
Yeah, it's not a who's list of All-American contenders. I thought Ayala would be called for stalling, a lot of blocking ties. Angel Rivera wasn't the reffing, so he couldn't get carvered. Wrestling from his knees, not as much as Ferrari did, but it's just one of those things. And it's 4-2, and he just didn't really commit. Like, what's the difference if you lose 4-2 or 7-2? Like, you got to take a risk to get out there. I mean, Davis did it at the end of the match with Bailey, and he almost got taken down. It was sloppy. He was shooting to his hands and all that stuff, but you didn't see that urgency from Ayala or from most of the Iowa lineup. Just no urgency to just go for it. Like, who cares? You lose 4-2 or you get taken down trying. Go take that risk. Go make an attempt. And
but that's the mindset difference that the Penn State guys have, is they're fearless of giving up a takedown. They don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Take me down. No problem. I'll get up and get another one.
Right. Ryder Block took down Shane Van Ness and almost got a second one on him. Right. Like, Van Ness doesn't care.
Messenbrink gives up takedowns.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Davis and Bailey. I mean, the takeaway for me there is that Bailey showed up. Bailey lost to him 1-0, I think, last year or the year before?
It was in Nationals last year.
Okay. And there was no takedown. And here, Bailey caught Davis with that snatch single, and that was it. That was the match. Davis never really came close to sniffing a leg. And I will say that his technique just, like, it looked like he was shooting head down, and he just landed on both hands. Like, he wasn't really committed to almost any of those shots.
Yeah, I mean, and you can go back to the last 2 years. I mean, where it's been said, what is his go-to shot? I mean, how much offense does he have that he can initiate? So I think he, like you said, he got caught flat-footed on that little snatch single, and that turned out to be the match.
Yeah, and as a coaching mind, like if you like, I mean, to me, that's one of the that used to be I want to say super popular, but it was a very popular shot in the 70s and early 80s. That snatch single, and like if you're a coach, like that thing is ripe for the picking, especially with today's modern stances.
Well,
Anyway,
especially for big, like you, Mirasola should be doing that all day long, so he
right?
doesn't go underneath these big guys.
Yeah, exactly. And Davis almost looked like an Iowa wrestler at one point. There was a lot of activity without a go-to technique. And he's gonna, if he's gonna be in the running, he's gonna have to figure that out. It's kind of early in the season. They just pulled him out into the starting lineup, and he's one of those guys this is his third weight class in 3 seasons.
Right.
Kudos for Bailey. He went out there and kind of competed. We'll say. I thought that he was going to lose. Davis put that ride on him in the second period. And his body language was horrible, but he wanted to win. Like he clearly wanted to win.
Yeah,
And he
no,
did.
I mean he did kind of shut it down after that first takedown and kind of stall his way for a while,
Yep.
but he did enough.
And I didn't interrupt, but like he gets that snatch, and then he throws Davis into that cradle. I thought Davis was gone. That was a deep cradle, right? And
Yeah.
you wonder, cardio's always been an issue for Bailey. Did that get him tired? Whatever. Then the ride in the second period, and I thought, Jesus, if Davis had a go-to, Bailey's right for picking here, but it just didn't happen. Lost 3-2.
Well, I mean the other thing is he was planning on redshirting. He hadn't
Yep.
done a single tournament until Nagao got hurt.
The
I'm like,
Kaufman.
how much
Yeah.
was he in the room? Like he had some off the mat issues he was dealing with
Yep.
over the summer and
Yep.
stuff. I'm like how ready was he for that tournament and then the duel?
Exactly. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of stuff that they'll be looking at as far as trying to get the technique better, um, and more efficient. And who would think? I mean, going into this match, I don't know anybody who had Bailey as the lone winner for Iowa. I'm
Right.
sure there was homers who had Penn State shutting them out, but that's never happened, right? What we saw has never happened. Penn State's never won by, I think it was more than 23 points before. And they've never won more than, I think, 7 individual matchups. So this is, new territory.
Yeah, no surprise. I mean, it was I mean, they were favored in most, but they pulled the upsets in a handful of them.
They did. I think the rankings favored 8 out of 10, and they upset that upsets heavyweight and 84, and I guess Davis was. I don't know where Davis and Bailey were ranked going in, but I mean, you'd take the 84 and the heavyweight upset, right? Like those are big deals.
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite of Davis on some level is Shane Van Ness, who is so much activity with technique that, right, like he can get caught out of position just because he's just going at you. So much fun to watch if you're not wrestling him. And Block comes out and gets that first takedown, right?
Yeah.
Shane was caught with his hands out of position, and Block just went in and took it to him, which as a fan, like that makes the match interesting, right? Like you're all of a sudden, oh crap. And he almost got another one. But Van Ness is so confident that he's going to get points. It allows him to take risks that most wrestlers will never experience. You put yourself in some bad positions, and this is one of those things that I think they encourage in that room is put yourself in a bad position and figure out how to get out of it. And
Right. The play
Supreme,
wrestling.
yeah, yep. And then it's something that we don't talk about much, but something that every good wrestler seems to know is, and Block demonstrated this, but Shane Van Ness was just too quick, is a lot of times wrestlers get in a position where it looks like they're going to stalemate, and then they're ready to explode the second the other guy relaxes just a bit. And like Van Ness at one point when he was on top, Block had it saved up, and he exploded out from underneath. And, it was just kind of an interesting moment that a lot of coaches never talk about with their team is like, wait for that relaxation, lull them into relaxing, and then you go. On the other hand, it didn't do block any good because Van Ness was still putting it on him for the major, but it's just one of those coaching points that you like to block, went out there and competed. And I mean, he went out there and he put himself in some bad positions. He ended up in that bow and arrow. I mean, I almost felt bad for him. I mean, Van Ness cranked that thing. It was a pretty nasty move.
Yeah, no, that got tight. But I mean, that was a 7-point move at the end. I mean,
Yep.
And that's what got him the major. Otherwise, it was Block's been doing well. He hung close.
And he's not the only. Messenbrink got the major in the final seconds also. Like these guys just want it. They want it, and it's if you're a high school kid, middle school kid, check it out. 57, Duke versus Williams. Transfer versus the true freshman. Kind of felt each other out, I think, in the first thing. Williams didn't look like a guy who got a bag of cash and wanted to show it up, at the match. Duke didn't commit to a ride. Almost had that neutral exposure, which, I don't know. Grasso's a pretty good ref. I mean, I'd rather have him there than Angel Rivera, but I just felt like he was a little slow to a couple of those neutral exposures. I think, what was the other one? Was it with Levi, maybe? I'm not sure. Or maybe it was Shane.
Yeah, there were a few.
Yeah. And so anyway, then there was right after that, they reviewed it. And like Duke's got his ankle trapped and Williams is on his back. Like, I don't know how that was not. I know it was like with 1 second left in the period, but I just didn't see how that. All right. If there's no neutral exposure, that sure looks like a takedown to me when you have the ankle trapped. Williams didn't have the leg, and he's on his back for a second at the end of the match. I didn't get it. And I don't want to pick on Angel Rivera, but like he gets swayed by the crowd, something fierce when he's in Carver Hawkeye.
Yeah, I mean, somebody was joking. He's like, when was the last time we've seen somebody get carvered? And it's like, it's been a little while.
It has been a while, right? On the other hand, hey, props to the Iowa crowd. They were loud the entire time, even though the team was getting crushed. It's not like they have to play music like they do at Bryce Jordan, right? Like crazy. And the other coaching point I was going to throw out there is that the way PJ did that down block and reattack. So many coaches do a down block drill, but they don't get the hand down, and then they don't reattack physically low. And that was clinically textbook stuff, and incorporate that, guys, into your practice plan. It was really beautiful. Hand on the mat, head up, and reattack. And that's kind of where he started separating. We got that takedown, and it was muscle memory. He didn't have to think about it. He anticipated that funk roll for the takedown. And Williams just didn't look like he wanted to win. I don't think he took one risk, loses 4-1. Again, who cares if you lose 7-1 or 4-1? Go take a shot. I know you're going to say, hey, I can't get past the head hands defense. Try. Throw yourself. Do a flying squirrel. Do something. Show the team that you got some passion.
Yeah,
Any
I mean,
thoughts? Yeah.
People talked about Iowa's fight, and I think it was a very different appearance for the first 5, and then after the break, it was like those 5 didn't seem to have the same level of fight that the others did.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give Caliendo some credit. I mean, this is the 8th time he's gotten beaten by Messenbrink.
7-0. Yeah.
Is it 7-0?
Yeah.
After this or before this?
After. Because it was dual Big Ten NCAAs 2 years in a row, so that was 6, and then this was 7.
Caliendo, like, he could have been hit for stalling at least a couple times there. I don't think he touched the leg in the second period, but it's hard for him to attack when Messenbrink is just not stopping, right? Like, How do you, like, I feel for the guy, and he only loses to Messenbrink and like the other Askren kid, who lost a car, who wrestled.
Keegan
O'Toole. I think was that his last 8 losses, right? is to that group, which of 2. Anyway, I don't know. Same, the dive shots are interesting. Like Messenbrink is just throwing himself. I don't think that's going to work at the senior level, but he really just wants to create contact so he can feel what you're doing and try to finish from there, which is a really, you don't see that often. I guess it's like David Taylor a little bit or Jason Nolf, just launching yourself without actually, having a clear plan to finish.
Yeah, he just wants to get into a wrestling position.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, Caliendo went to his knees a bunch too, like, not clearly as much as Ferrari, but I mean, I can't hold it against him. I mean, he's trying to avoid bonus points, and he had, right? I mean, he had brought it down to, was it 4-1 at NCAAs, and
Right.
Messenbrink changed things up. Someone gave me a hard time for saying Messenbrink looked more physical. To me, I just thought, I mean, you think of high volume, but he was really the collar ties, especially in the first period. It just looked like he was trying to move Caliendo a little bit more than normal to create those angles. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Messenbrink looks annoying to wrestle.
he looks really annoying to wrestle, and right. And I just think back to him in the Burroughs match, and like he's driven, and it, enough that he finished that takedown just at the buzzer to get the major, and I think was it. I'm trying to remember he and Levi. Who else is it? I'm trying to think of Cornell Kevin had everybody listed as their who's got the most bonus point averages. So dominance
Oh,
ranking, Messenbrink is scoring 5.33 points per match or team points. Josh Barr 5.22, Isaac Trumbull 5.13, PJ Duke 5.1, Shane Van Ness is 5, Levi Haynes is 5. That's pretty good representation to average team points.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
they're looking to score.
they are. And then we had the surprise start for Gabe Arnold instead of Kennedy versus Haynes. Haynes is another guy, like, just doesn't break position, right? He really is. And that he is so tight when he locks up. I always thought it would transition well at the senior level, and it did. Taking silver at Worlds, but he just works his way up the leg, and I, not to give anything away, but like Penn State was in the position to reach seatbelt at least a half dozen times and didn't do it once. And they're all anticipating as they move up that leg and stay on the near leg, they're anticipating the funk roll. Every one of them is waiting for that. And they're, all of a sudden you
They kind
threaten
of
the
stay
guy.
loose so that they can kind of let him go and then dive on top.
It's interesting technique, and they've clearly they've been changing that up. So anyway, Arnold went out there. I don't think Arnold was expecting Levi to be that strong. Gabe seems to be the stronger guy and quicker guy in most matches, even though he's not the starter in that lineup. But he never took a risk at the end of the third period either, right? It's, I don't know. It was one of those things where throw yourself at a leg. I know that Levi's got tremendous tie-ups and head-hands defense, but go show me you want to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
there
thoughts
wasn't a
on
lot
that?
of that in the back half.
There was not. 84, Rocco Welsh, Angelo Ferrari. I don't know. Any thoughts on that pre-match stare? Did you see it at the handshake?
I saw it. It was interesting. I loved that Rocco wasn't afraid to give it back to him.
Yeah. Yep. Um, and to me, this was like I've asked Yanni, the Hakamahalis, and a couple other people about 3-point stances over the years. And to me, Rocco game planned this. This is like when you talk about smart wrestling, you may say it was boring, but keeping distance and doing that forehead post, and talk about forehead post, I didn't even mention it. Iowa clearly broke out that forehead post specifically for Penn State to keep them away. All
Yeah.
match, guys, right? They were doing it. But Rocco did it to Angelo, and he couldn't figure out how to get close enough.
No. And Rocco did enough with fake attempts and half shots here and there to kind of keep the activity, kept his butt in the center. Yeah, I mean, he did enough to not get nailed for stalling and wasn't going to chase.
Totally. And right, that's what people, he did not get frustrated. He stuck to that plan. This is a blueprint for anybody who's close to Angelo's skill level that you should be using. Don't chase, forehead block, frustrate him. I mean, at some point, somebody's going to call him for more stalling. I don't know who it was. Someone posted that Ferrari was on his knees in a 3-point stance for, was it 2.5 to 3 minutes?
Kyle's posted something the other day that he dropped down 32 times.
I mean, I know he has a darting shot from there, but he didn't take it, right? I think he touched Rocco's legs twice during the match, that's not a lot, right? On the other hand, I think Rocco only got to Angelo's legs one time in the third period, and it wasn't really that close. But to me, Rocco had a game plan. Didn't show him his ride during the in regular time, but he game planned that sudden victory ride out. I mean, to a T.
Yeah, and he avoided the stalling calls during the match so he could eat one in the sudden in the criteria period.
Yeah. So I get it. You want to win. You don't want to go down with too much activity, making a mistake. This was a game plan. I don't know. Rocco showed me something really positive there. I didn't think he'd be strong enough to hold position with Angelo. I just think that his upper body's a little weak, but it worked and it was genius. I was a little surprised he uncorked it here at the duel, since he's also probably going to see him at Big Tens and possibly at NCAAs. It's one of those things, but maybe he has more things up his sleeve after he felt them for the first time. So kudos to Rocco Welsh. Ferrari still hasn't given up a takedown in college, but I mean, that's a loss. And at some point, if he gets up into that regular stance and makes himself more readily available instead of dropping down whatever it is 32 times, right? Dake had something similar when he was wrestling Burroughs back in the day, but I felt like he was just a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I didn't have Rocco winning in my kind of mental predictions. I thought that was going to be one that he wasn't going to be able to beat, and he still didn't get a takedown, but he did what he had to and pulled the upset.
Yep. 97, Barr comes back out. He doesn't look super crisp to me from coming back. I don't know if it's that he's just pushing the pace to get his lungs back in shape for real competitions, or that he was just like, all right, this guy is, I can't remember the guy's name he wrestled.
Brody Sampson.
Yeah. Brody Sampson, tough task to replace Endine. I was really looking forward to that match. And, a Barr sticks him with an assassin after doing a couple of the other techniques that we already talked about the team looks to be doing. So, Barr looks like he's on pace, and, anybody's going to have a hard time matching his cardio come, Big Ten time.
Yeah, I mean, Barr looks fully healthy. He didn't have the undershirt on this time. I think they said there's likely to be Penn State to have 6 number 1 ranked guys come Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. First time. I know Flo said it'll be the first time in their history of ever having a single team with 6 number 1s.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be the domination. It's kind of interesting, when you look at what the sport is evolving at. You're going to need, and this is why I think Asker needs to be involved. Like, you need people who can understand how to wrestle through a position and not just expect to finish. And it's one of those things where when you're looking at it like that, as a puzzle to be figured out. Like, I've been pretty hard on Chris Bono, but it seems like they're having a better year than they've had. And maybe they're not working the team quite as hard as that's the rap is, that they've just been overtraining. But to get to that next level, like, you have to be ready. Like Penn State is, they're in on that shot, and then next thing you know, they're changing directions on that finish. And if you can't go in 2 directions, it used to be called, like, if you were stuck in a position, change over. If you were underneath, get the guy on the other hip. But here, right, they're doing a changeover and switching directions almost every time they're just waiting for someone to load up on them. It's almost like the shot is a setup to the finish. So it's kind of an interesting take. Um, I guess the other guys who could ultimately get to number one, like that doesn't count Lilladol, right? Is Buzakis number one? Who's number
Well,
one?
Robinson lost. So Robinson lost
Oh, okay.
Friday night as well. So he's going to go to 1.
Okay.
Van Ness has already won. Mitchell's won. Levi's won. Rocco, they said, is going to jump to 1, and Barr.
Gotcha. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup if you keep that going into the Big Tens.
6 out of 10 number ones.
Yeah, that's crazy, and that doesn't even take.
PJ hasn't had the opportunities to really jump up any higher.
Right, and then Blaze. I wonder. Let's just see who else. Who does Blaze have coming up? He will see. Well, he won't see Crookham. He'll see Davino, I'm assuming, and
that's it.
That's it, right? Because Penn State doesn't wrestle Illinois this year, right?
Right.
So that's and then Duke. Who does Duke see?
He's got a better shot, I feel like.
So Duke will see
Antrell and Cannon.
There you go. And Cannon's one of those guys who is just right. You kind of gave me the background on his story maybe a month ago. I mean, what a great story for that guy, right? Seriously.
Somebody reposted his video he did like in high school after getting the surgery and getting the tumor removed and all that stuff.
No, did you retweet it or not?
I don't know if I saw it on Twitter or not. I saw it somewhere. Somebody had retweeted. I think it was Facebook, probably.
So Duke, yeah. So they'll see each other in the duel, and the other person is, Caleb Larkin bumping up. I don't. Yeah. So I mean, Duke won't get to see him at Arizona State. That's a pretty crazy story. That guy is wrestling lights out. I've watched a few of his matches, and then going up and bumping up, beating Vinny Zerban, and then Waters. That guy is no joke. I mean, he's got a feel that is clearly unusual. Really interesting. I watched both of those matches, the Zerban match and the Waters match, and what an unusual. Clearly, something's confusing people when they're in on him.
Well, Waters is still letting anybody and everybody get in on his legs.
He's so easy.
Yeah. Now, not everybody scores, but he still lets them in, and you start getting at some of these guys that are better finishers, then it's going to bite you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if we talked about Mirasola and Keeter, but Keeter just doesn't look like he's getting better, and Mirasola does.
Yeah, that. I was trying to look. I couldn't find the weigh-ins anywhere. But yes, Mirasola is gonna do very well against the small and mid-size heavyweights. I still think he's gonna struggle with the big ones.
Agreed.
But we'll have to see.
He will see AJ Ferrari. Gadali, maybe. I don't know if he's in the lineup, and Feldman before Big Tens, which will give people, Feldman has put on a lot of size. I don't know if he actually qualifies as a big guy. He's got big thighs, though. Ferrari, I mean, he's not a huge heavyweight, and he does not look like he was celebrating a pretty weak win against Minnesota. I don't know what that was against. Was it Coy Hopke, maybe?
It was. It was bad for a lot of reasons, considering he's still got some new outstanding legal issues that he's dealing with. And you could see like Brian Snyder like trying to stop him, and
exactly.
And I think he gave up a team point too.
That was it. Yeah, I think I know when I posted the box score, I saw that they lost a team point, but I wasn't sure if it was Ferrari because it wasn't notated.
What was the one toss-up match that the guy that somebody on the other team, if they had finished a shot or something at the buzzer, they said that team point would have actually lost them the duel.
Um,
I didn't watch the match, but
yeah.
I saw somebody comment that team point really could have hurt if the other person that was about to win pulled it off.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where, right, because on the box score, it doesn't show. Where the heck is the unsportsmanlike asterisk at? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. 7-2, 4-1 and sudden victory. Yeah, Volk won, Van D won, Von Bauer won, Drew Roberts had a nice win. Taylor won. Boy, I don't know if you saw that match. Millard was wrestling him tough, and he got countered, and Taylor threw him to his back, and it looked like he was checked out, punching the mat while he was getting pinned. He was more upset with himself and just completely ended up getting pinned by Taylor on the finished lat drop, I guess.
Yeah.
Arujo won, Minto won, McAnally beat Allred. Yeah, it shows unsportsmanlike, but it doesn't show which match it was where they lost a point in the box score. So you can put it in the show notes and say, geez, Mike and Jamie, what'd you do? Anyway, anything else on that? I mean, who's coming up for Penn State?
Northwestern in 6 minutes.
That's right.
I believe they're starting at 74, and Northwestern may be forfeiting 165.
Gotcha. Did someone post the weigh-in sheets?
No, just seeing some stuff on Discord.
Got it.
I don't know where people get their info at times, but
all right, Jamie.
well,
anything else?
Penn State's Twitter account posted that they're starting at 74.
Okay, got it. But
the logic and reasoning behind it of them not having a 65, I don't know where anyone got that.
Interesting. Yeah, over under on wins for Northwestern today, Jamie.
It'll be a shutout.
Yeah.
Unless they potentially go backups.
Right. I wonder if they're going to start any of the backups there is my question.
I'm thinking with Big Tens and allocation and RPI and all that stuff coming up, I would say no.
You would think so. I wonder if anybody got banged up last night. We didn't see it. Angelo Ferrari looked like he hurt his ankle at the end of the match, but who knows? Maybe it was his ego.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Does Northwestern, I don't even think they have anybody. They got one guy ranked number 25, and that's as high as I see.
I mean, DeFranker is probably going to be one of their highest. Cartella at 49 is pretty good. He's very good on top. If he goes, he didn't seem to wrestle his last match.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's WrestleStat have? They have
shutout 42-0.
42-0. Yeah.
And they have Navarro at 25 as the highest ranked guy. I don't know what Intermat has, but all right. Anything coming up for you? What's going on next weekend for wrestling?
We got a dual meet on Wednesday, and then we're hosting the Independent School State dual meet tournament on Saturday. That's always fun to get such a diverse mix of teams in the room with number 5 or so, top 10 in the country, Malvern and Hill and Penn Charter and Haverford, which all have really strong teams. And then you got some of the friend school teams that aren't quite the same, some of the other independent schools that don't quite stack up. So it's a very diverse group of teams, and it's quite interesting to try and seed.
Good luck with that.
Well, some teams don't do duels anymore. Jamie. Literally, some teams don't do dual meets anymore.
Interesting.
They just do tournaments.
Yeah. Because they're just trying to get more matches in. Is that it?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know the rationale. There's a couple teams that have not wrestled a duel, and they may not wrestle one all season.
Interesting. Is that the number one team there or not?
No, Malvern's
Oh,
got yeah, they have their league, they do duels with everybody, so they have their league matches, but they've done a couple dual tournaments as well.
yeah.
Both, and their B team has gone to some dual tournaments, so trying to cipher out the A team versus the B team, and
Right.
but I think Hill will give them, on paper. I have them being the top two, and Hill probably giving them some good matches, but I think Malvern will win it again.
Got it. All right, Jamie, anything else for the fans?
No,
Try to do better next time and we'll talk soon, maybe?
yeah.
Okay. You, you still on there? Are you